Afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time in November. It is November 1. Wow, what a year it's been for the show. Halloween was last night. I had a bunch of people at my door. Boy, they were banging it down, let me tell you. But didn't disappoint. All right, but tonight we are going to Miley Cyrus country. We're going to Knoxville, Tennessee, and the gentleman I'm interviewing is a comic strip writer. He's done about 18 editions, and we're going to cover all that. But before we get to him, we're going to be these incredible underwriters per usual, and then we will commence. So we have a new one, the Dandy Cafe, right down the road here in Carver. We have Pals Driving School in Middleborough, now setting up classes for December of 2023, January and February of 2024. Better hurry it up. They get in there. We got Carver Jewels, Ronald Aaron, Lyle Delano Goldsmiths right here in the building. In Carver, we got Bulldog Sports Cards in Middleborough. We got Crazy Axes Rec Center in Hanover. We got New England Floorscapes in Middleborough. We got the Auto Shop, great mechanic Ed Rooney in Hanover. Thank you, Ed. We got Giorgio's House of Pizza, also right down the road here in Carver. We got Salon Giovanni in Marshfield. We got Rock Solid Tops, countertop specialists in Pembroke. We got Auto Clinic in Rockland. It's good to have them back. We got First Priority Autos in Middleborough. Good to have them back. We got Rodney's Kitchen in Halifax. We got Pembroke Radiator in Pembroke. We got Genuine's Inspection in Middleborough. We have Kingston Auto Body in Kingston. We have the Gunrunner LLC, the Second Amendment Freedom Store in Middleborough. And we have DNS Auto Works and Collision Specialists also right up the road here on Route 58 in Abington. And I want to thank you guys very much. And now, Mr. Rich Davis, how are you today? Thanks for doing my show.
I am fantastic, man. Thank you so much for having me. Happy to be here.
Okay, I'm looking at the background, and it looks like you have a lot of curios behind you. Are you in a pawn shop, or is that your living room?
No, this is my house. Yeah.
Cool.
I don't.
You're a collector. Are you a collector aside from being a comic book writer? Are you a collector as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm a person. I don't collect a lot of things, but I collect the things I like. I'd rather buy one really cool thing than 100 little tiny ones. But yeah, this is where I showcase kind of some of my stuff here and in my office. I kind of keep the nerdness contained to that one area of my house because I don't want my house to look like 40-year-old virgin type thing.
Okay. Well, I guess it's better than a 64-year-old virgin, but that's a show for another day.
Hey.
All right. Anyway, I said too much. Anyway, all right. Well, so you design a comic book. Tell me about that. Tell me. Did you say you had like 18 editions? Is that it?
Yeah. So I'm currently running a Kickstarter for my fourth. I call them my fourth nightmare. Okay. All of my books are my nightmares. The Nightmares of Rich Davis. So my first book was Cult of Dracula. Came out.
I have a quick question right off the bat. When you say, yeah. I have to ask. I mean, it sounds to me like, and if this isn't, this is inquiring minds want to know. The kind of material that you write, is it based on personal experience, maybe nightmares that you used to have? Because
absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I had the honor of attending a workshop at my college many years ago. But from
what college was that?
The University of North Carolina, Wilmington.
Okay, I was born down there. Great state. Okay.
Yeah. Right. And I saw Stephen King, and he said, if you want to write effective horror, write about what scares you. And I never forgot that. And so now, I do. I've always had vivid nightmares. It kind of runs in my family, going all the way back to Ireland. People, the women in my family especially were seers, back then, and treatment interpreters. So, my nightmares are extremely vivid, and I do use them as inspiration for my works.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, all right. So how long have you been doing this comics book for, these comic books?
My first book came out, Cult of Dracula, came out in 2021 from SourcePoint Press. It was a top 50 bestseller of the year. It's currently being developed by BR Films to be a feature film.
Wow.
Which is cool. Yeah, really excited. Followed that up with Rise of Dracula in 2022. And now we're launching Reign of Dracula in this year. We're doing the Kickstarter for it now, and then it'll be available in comic book shops everywhere in the spring of 2024.
Okay, tell me about the BR Film Productions. Where are they located? Are they
BR Films? They're based out of North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah, they've got several films right now. They do a lot of work with Tyler Perry Studios.
Okay.
They just had their biggest film called Dope Boy Magic come out. It's on Peacock right now. Highly encourage you to check that out. They
Okay.
also did Monogamish, which also came out on Peacock. So yeah, they're a really good up and coming film production company. They do some really great work, and I'm extremely excited that they liked my work enough to want to option it and put it into development.
That's awesome. Now I noticed you mentioned they're out of North Carolina too. So when you went to college, did that have anything to do with getting you discovered by them?
It did because Wilmington, North Carolina has a huge Screen Gems Studios. At one time, it was the third largest filming location in the country.
Screen Gems is huge. That's amazing. I never
It is. Oh yeah, it's huge. I think there's 6 film lots at the studio, and it still has the largest indoor water tank in North America.
Wait a minute. Wait, hold up. Water tank? What does that have to do with films?
So you can, if you want to film a water scene, you don't want to go out in the ocean and do it, so you film it in a tank.
That's right. You won't get any shocks in the little tank, will you?
Exactly, unless you put them there.
Unless you put them in there, right? Unless you need shocks, you get shocks. I understand.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So,
all right.
Yeah, it's a great film community. Jim Dutton lives there. He's a world famous camera man. He's invented lenses for the Arri Alexa cameras that are used in all over the world in great film productions. The guy who invented the gimbal, which the thing that helped you carry a camera around and keeps it steady.
Okay, it's not the same. Not to be confused with a tripod, obviously.
No, it's kind of like a portable tripod. Like you can.
I understand. It's just so you can hold the camera, so you don't have to. So you can just hold it easily.
Yeah, and it doesn't shake. So the guy who invented that's from Wilmington. And so, yeah, I had connections with a lot of the guys from BR Films. Once the book took off and my agent started marketing it and pitching it, to companies, BR Films, they jumped on it. And, because of those connections I have with them, and because I know that they're the same style of, they make films the way that I write books. So I decided to go with them, and I've been very impressed with the way they've handled things. We have Tony Todd from the Candyman attached to the film. They've had conversations with people like Jimmy Simpson, Sophia Bush, Jacob Elordi. A lot of these really cool. Lily Simmons is another one they've been negotiating with. Of course, all the negotiations kind of stalled with the strikes and everything. So
of course,
resolved. And we'll get those contracts signed.
Did the strike affect the BC Films set as well, or just out in Hollywood?
Yeah, it affects everyone.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because BR Films, they're.
Yeah, I'm sorry, BR, not BC. I said BC.
Yeah, okay. They're a SAG-AFTRA, union company, and we all support SAG-AFTRA and the Writers Guild and what they're asking for in their strikes. Solidarity with that. We're perfectly happy to wait until they get good contracts and get what they need, and our film isn't going anywhere.
I understand. Now, how did you end up in Knoxville, Tennessee? Did you grow up there?
I grew up in Middle Tennessee. I was born in Middle Tennessee, in a little town called Sparta. It's middle of the state, dead middle of nowhere.
And sounds like heaven to me.
Yeah, hey, it is now. It's a gorgeous area. It's right at the Cumberland Plateau. You want to see beautiful mountains. This time of year, it's absolutely stunning with all the leaf changes. It's a great little area. A lot of parks, a lot of hiking. Just don't expect to find anything big or fancy. It's a small town. Yeah, it's a small town.
So near Franklin, Tennessee. That's where Miley came from.
Yeah, so it's about an hour from Franklin. Yeah,
it's not far.
Yeah, about an hour and a half east of Nashville.
Yeah, I'm a fan of her, so I just figured I'd throw that in. Okay.
Yes. Yep.
I've never been there. I love the mountains, and I love and I suppose the weather isn't too bad even in the winter, or is it?
No, you know what? It's cold right now, but cold for us is
cold here too. It's kind of raw, but it's not snowing.
Exactly. We barely ever get snow. But we do get a season changes here. So that's
of course we all have. Pretty much the whole country gets that. All right, let's talk about now. Tell me about your life as a child, because this is what I do with every guest. I like to find out, because I'm going to be late. Like I said, now when I was a child, when I was a baby, and to this point, to this day, I still think it was a message from a higher power about something that I'm doing or shouldn't do or whatever. I don't know, but I had this apparition. Now you see, maybe you can work with this too. And I was a baby in a crib. This every night for a few years, my parents would shut the light out on me, and all of a sudden, this female silhouette would happen into the room with an electrical charge around her. You could see it was a female just because of the shape of the body and everything, but just a shadow. I called her the shadow lady. Mm-hmm. She'd come and she'd touch me and give me a shock. It was awful. This wasn't just a nightmare. This was a trauma thing that I was going through. Mm-hmm. Now, did you have stuff like this happen as a kid that sort of inspired you? And if so, I'm kind of curious as to what it was.
Yes. So my whole life, I've had very vivid waking dreams. Where
that's what this was too, right? Go on.
Yeah, I'll wake up and I'm still trapped in that dream world, and I will see things. I will see things in the room. Literally, there's not a night goes by that I don't see someone in my bedroom or in my house. Whether those are.
You're talking about today too, currently?
Oh yeah, wow. Yeah. When I wake up, I go to sleep. And I'll wake up and I'll see people. What
do you say? People? Are you talking? I mean, you don't see demonic creatures, do you? Or do you?
No, I do see. I do see this one. This thing that it's just kind of an amorphous shadow that moves.
So kind of like my thing a little.
Yeah, kind of like that. It's never touched me, but it does move around. And I see spiders a lot.
Okay.
I have a deep arachnophobia. Like I've passed out because my arachnophobia is that strong. So I'll wake up a lot of times and a spider will be hanging over my eyes, and I'll leap up out of bed, and it takes me a long time to figure out that it's not there. And usually when I see the spider, it's about the time I'm going to see the thing that moves in the corners as well. So, but again, that runs in my family. Goes all the way back to the country in Ireland.
What do you mean? You mentioned Ireland. You lived in Ireland too?
No, I did not. My family, they came from Ireland and Germany, that area. And of course I have Native American through my father. But my great grandmother was a Cherokee Indian. Reservation and everything. But so I hear the history of our family going all the way back to Ireland. And then when they came to the U.S., on one side of my family is the Bell family. If you've heard the legend of the Bell Witch. I don't know it well, but I've heard of it. Yeah, that's my family. It's fantastic American haunting story. Look into it. It's terrifying. But yeah, that's so something like that runs in my family with dreams. But yeah, there's literally not a night goes by that I don't see someone.
Well, all right. Now, look, I got to ask too. I mean, at your age, you're an adult now. If I was still having these kind of nightmares, I'd be in therapy. It's obviously it's not bothering you enough to be in therapy.
No, my therapy is my writing.
Your therapy is your writing. That's what I was going to figure out.
It's very therapeutic to get to work through that and to process those things through writing. And I've done that since I was a child. When I'd have these nightmares, I'd wake up and I'd write them down. And I write down what I saw, and then that helped me. Once it's kind of like Where the Wild Things Are. How
old are you now?
I'm in my 40s.
40s. That's what I figured. Okay.
Yeah. So it's once you name the monster, it's no longer frightening.
Interesting.
And so by writing it, that helps me. Now when I wake up, I see the people, and it doesn't frighten me anymore. But when I was in Wilmington in my house there, I used to see people every single night. They would walk from my closet to my bedroom door and walk out, and then they would be gone.
Well, are there any people there that you like to have there? I mean, beautiful women.
I never had the chance to talk to them. I would like. Never had the chance to talk to them, but maybe we would have gotten along. I don't know.
Well, what do you mean? You didn't have, so they don't say anything. They just walk through.
They just walk through. Like, I don't even know if they know I'm there.
Right, but I mean, what I'm asking is, are any of them non-frightening, benevolent?
Yeah, I've haven't been really benign, except for the shadow thing. I've been really frightened a long time. That's the one, and again, I don't know if these are dreams or what they are, but
I know exactly what you're talking about too.
Yeah, but I feel fear when I see that one. The others, they used to scare me because it shocked me. But I never feel malevolence from any of them, but the shadow goes.
Shadow and the spiders, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
and I think those are connected.
Okay. When did you start writing these books? How long? I mean, when did you start actually creating a series of comic books? How long ago was this?
Yeah, so I started writing comics in 2016.
Okay.
Um,
So
I'd been a playwright and a screenwriter before that.
Okay.
Nothing that'll make me ever famous, but I worked.
Why not? Why do you don't say that? You want
Well, I was never.
You can't have that attitude, or you definitely won't have it work.
Yeah. The screenplays and things I worked on were mostly fixing other people's scripts, kind of a strict script doctor type thing. More.
Okay.
But it was nice. I wrote several plays. And that went well. And I've tried to write prose novels, but it's not really my style. But
okay.
Scripts, I do well with those. And so writing a comic book script is very similar to writing a screenplay. It's got more in common with a screenplay than it does a novel.
Do you illustrate your own books too?
I do not. I am a god awful artist, but I am very fortunate that I get to work with some amazing comic book artists.
That's what I figured. Okay. Do you have a family? Do you have wife, kids, or?
I was married. My wife passed away in 2020.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. She had chronic kidney disease and got a transplant, but there were complications. And,
yeah.
Okay. But again, writing being my therapy, that was the inspiration for my book that's on shelves now, Prometheus in Chains.
Okay.
To play on Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, where Elizabeth Frankenstein is one of the Jewish scientists with Victor who comes to the U.S. to work on the Manhattan Project.
Okay.
That's just true, well, except for different characters.
That's a time machine. That's a time travel thing, isn't it?
No, the Manhattan Project was the atomic bomb.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was
the Philadelphia experiment.
Oh, yeah, Philadelphia experiment. Yeah.
Okay.
So the Manhattan Project was World War II atomic bomb. It was right here in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. That's where they did a lot of the work with the plutonium. But wow. Elizabeth gets cancer. She passes away, and her death drives Victor into a spiral of addiction, depression, and an obsession with bringing her back to life. So instead of looking at it from Victor's arrogance driving him to steal fire from the gods, it's his grief, which I thought added a real human element to Victor Frankenstein. And when you're reading that book, it's me working through my own PTSD and depression. So it's been a very successful book. Issue 3 just came out. Issue 4 is due in a couple of weeks. Comic book stores everywhere. If you want to really peek inside of my head and inside of my life, read Prometheus in Chains. Okay. Do
you have children?
I have no kids. I've got some amazing dogs.
Oh, that's great. No, I know, man. Pets are people. Pets are people. They
absolutely.
Yeah, no question.
I love my dogs.
Yeah, they must. I mean, I assume sometimes they must love it when you're sitting there writing and they come over and. Yeah, I know. They hang out and everything, and
they spend all day with me.
They need you to throw them a tennis ball and walk a little bit.
Yep. Yeah. And we go outside in the back and we play. And no, they're amazing companions. I have 3. They're all rescue dogs.
Yeah.
And 2 of them are seniors. One of the things I've always liked to do is adopt senior dogs because a lot of people won't.
Okay, you want to give them a good, like they're in the twilight. You want to make it good for them. I understand.
Whatever time they've got left, I want to make it the best time of their lives.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I had cats, so I know what that's like. Okay. Yeah. And one had feline AIDS, only made it to 11, unfortunately. Oh, no. The other one made it to 18, which was pretty good. But they hated each other, though. That's the only yeah.
They loved you.
Well, yeah, I think so. I think they did. I love them, and it is amazing how, like, happenstance, that's how they came to me. I didn't rescue them. One of them was nomadic, would run through the yards in our neighborhood at night. I adopted her in 1996, and she only lived to 2007. And the other one I got in 2000, it was a kitten from a guy that looked like he was just coming out of rehab, and he handed it to me in a bag. And I said to myself, well, I knew my first one had feline AIDS. That's why she only lived to be 11. And I knew that if there was ever a confrontation, it might be contagious. So I tried to find her another home. I didn't do it. And I kept her, and I still managed to keep them together for 7 years. And then eventually one went in the hard way. The other one I had to put down. It was humane. And right now I'm petless for the moment, but if destiny sends me another one, I'm good for it. We'll see. We just got to see what happens.
When you see the right cat, you'll know.
Exactly. All right. All right. So how much time a day do you spend writing? I assume that's your full-time gig, right? Pretty much.
It is. It is
Wow.
now, thankfully. I'm very fortunate that that I can do that. I have an office in my house. And
Is that it right there or not? That's your collection?
no, this is actually outside my office.
Outside, yeah.
Yeah, my office is right next door.
Okay.
And but yeah, I do. One of the ways I know that's helped me be successful is I give myself office hours, just like like I have a real job. Like I wake up every day,
Yeah.
eat my
You have to
breakfast.
leave your
I
house.
still
It's
read a
beautiful.
newspaper, an
Yeah.
actual newspaper. And after I do that, I go to my office and I write in the mornings. Then I take a lunch break and then I come back and write some more. And some days I sit there and I end up typing the same sentence over and over and over and over again. And some days I have, periods where I write for 5-6 hours straight. But I found that by putting myself in the position to be creative, I am often creative.
Yeah, I know exactly, because I wrote a book of short stories in the 90s. In the 70s, I did a book of poems. And
cool.
that was a pamphlet. But so it took me the whole 10 years, the final decade of the 20th century to create my book. And I was self-published. But I did okay. I got some TV news. What happened? The image just disappeared. Oh, there it is. Okay. I got some TV news coverage in 2002 up in Derry, New Hampshire, and I'm still friends with the reporter that did that story. And I sold a bunch of, I sold books in the thousands. I used to go selling them door to door. I didn't have the kind of success that I'd hoped that I do with the show, but it was, pretty cool.
Right.
So tell me about that poster behind you over your shoulder, Thor. Is that
this one? Yeah. So I love Thor. I do. One of my favorite comics.
The God of Thunder, right?
Yeah. Thor, God of Thunder. So Marvel Comics. I around the room here, I've got these 24 by 36 canvas comic book covers. I like to keep the Silver Age look, or this is bronze, but I do like to keep the old style comic book covers. It's just, they make me feel good. So I love the Thor cover back there. And so that's kind of my centerpiece in the room. I've got Cap, I've got Spidey, I've got the Avengers, at different places in the room. But yeah,
so these are the comics that inspire you, right? To write your own stuff.
Yeah, I read them voraciously when I was growing up, and so they stuck with me, and I still read them today. I love comic books. I love to read in general.
I haven't read comic books since I went to camp in like 1970. But maybe I should get back to reading them. I'm sure they're good. I mean, since then, the only comics I ever read were Mad Magazine.
Oh, I love Mad Magazine. Yeah, God, I used to sneak.
What? Are you worried? Right? Yeah.
My dad he'd probably get angry if he knew I used to read his Mad magazines when I was a kid.
Why?
Well, because they were grown up books, and so
I was reading. I was reading Mad Magazine when I was 8, back in 19.
Oh wow, yeah, that was about the time I was 8 to 10. Yeah, that's about the time I was reading them.
Yeah, and I laughed at them even then because basically what they did was they poked fun at everything and anything. Oh,
yeah,
and that was pretty much that was Americana environment that which we live in. TV. The lighter side of stuff, the spy versus spy. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Roger Kaputnik was one of my idols. Roger Kaputnik.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
Right. So and on that note, have you ever written anything comical? That's funny. That's a comic strip. Are they all horror?
Horror is my wheelhouse, but I also also like to work some levity in there. I like to work humor into it. If you read Rise of Dracula, for example, my second nightmare, there's the characters called the Ruthven sisters. And
Rupkin.
What's that?
The Rupkin sister.
Ruthven. It's based off of the vampire legend of Count Ruthven. So I imagined his daughters. And they were originally just going to be little one-off characters. I needed them for a scene, and then I was not going to do anything else with them. But I loved writing in their, writing their voices. And Ellie Ruthven is absolutely hysterical. They go around, they're cracking movie references.
What are you talking about now? Are these like actresses that play these people?
Oh no, this is just in my head.
Oh, in your head.
Yeah, the characters. When you're a writer, you sit and have conversations with your characters.
All right. Well, now what I want to know is the film company. They're gonna have to hire actors to do to play the people that you design in their comic strips, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So how far along are they in doing that at this point?
So they're in active development.
Okay.
So they have we've attached Tony Todd from Candyman to the film.
Okay.
And they've had, but prior to the strike, we had conversations with Jimmy Simpson, Jacob Elordi, Sophia Bush, Lily Simmons.
Well, these are the people that are going to be in the. Are these the people that are going to play the roles in your book?
We hope so. Once the strike is over, we'll be able to finalize the contracts. You know, you can't say anything until you have ink on paper.
Yeah.
What I can say is the conversations were very good, and the interest is very high, mutual interest. So, you know, we just got to make the money work, and a lot of that's going to be determined once the strike is resolved, because, you know, BR Films will have to make adjustments to their contracts, you know, to match whatever the unions agree to.
What does BR stand for, or doesn't it stand for anything?
It stands for Big Rags, RAGGZ.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's a
Yeah. So that's Big Rags Films.
Interesting moniker for sure. Well, guess what, Rich? We're down to the final 5 minutes of the show. I hope you had fun talking to me.
Wow, this is going fast, man. This is fun.
Well, I hope we covered about as much about you as we could, and I hope you enjoyed yourself.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
And I'm glad Jeffrey sent you my way. If you had a good time with me, what I want you to do is to tell people, anyone that you know that might, you know, have an interesting story to tell, any of your actors, any people that inspire you, anybody.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, you know, you can go contact Jeffrey to set it up for them. Yeah. But if they want to do the show, make sure that he'll have them contact me, and we'll get them on either by Zoom or in person. Most likely, since he goes around the country, would probably be Zoom, but whatever works. What works.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I've had a great time. It's fun, and it went by so fast.
It does. Yeah, I know.
That's how you know you're having a good time.
You made it easy for me too. You're a very articulate and outspoken guy, and you know, and you have everything like in your head already to roll with it, so that you know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, and I made it easy for me to ask hopefully good questions.
You did, yeah. And
so now what I want you to do is just give some quick shouts out to people that are going to see the show. Anyone, your dogs, even if you want. I'm sure they'll watch. And then we'll wrap the show up with my snap and the way we began it. So go ahead.
That sounds great. I'd love to thank Jordan Dorenzo. He was my artist on Prometheus and Chains. Fantastic.
And by the way, if any of those people want to do my show, let's get them on.
Okay. Absolutely. Jerry Carita, he's producing Reign of Dracula, which is on Kickstarter right now.
Okay.
And Lori Sorensen, who's my booking agent, love her, couldn't do this without her. Mickey Mickelson, my publicist, couldn't do this without him. Les Garner, who's my artist on Reign of Dracula, amazingly talented guy. He had a stroke, and he was literally drawing in the hospital the day after his stroke.
Wow.
He's a Terminator, man, and I have the highest respect for him. Tom Mumm over at Blue Juice Comics, Scott Chitwood at Red 5, you know, just so many amazing people I've had the opportunity to work with. You can't name them all, but you know,
that's okay. I mean, I'm sure the ones that you can't name will know that you're thinking of them too.
I hope so.
All right. Well, Richard did a great job with me. I have one last favor to ask. Once we wrap the show up, can you stick around in my tech guy? I'll take a pic. Facebook. I don't know. Are you on Facebook?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
we'll connect on Facebook. Okay. Well, is it Rich Davis?
Yes.
Okay. If he does a picture, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tag you in it. I'm going to send you a friend request, and I'll tag you, and then then if you're okay with that, is that all right?
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. We're going to wrap the show up now. All right, folks. Thanks for watching Topic Time. See you next time. Have a good one. Signing off. Over and out. There we go.